land on which New Zealanders can build houses. Mr Chair, that bill... Mr Chair,
Gareth Hughes.
Kia ora, Mr Chair. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou kia ora. I want to start by asking a question. Now, this is a real question relating to this bill. Imagine if someone went up to a RMA commissioner and said, I want to build a power station running on gas which comes from fracking, which is going to release 425,000 tonnes of greenhouse gases a year. To put that in contrast, that's the same as all the cars driving for a year in Palmerston North. And the Commissioner had to say, well, I can't look at climate change because the law prohibits me from doing it. Now, Mr Speaker, this problem isn't a theoretical scenario. It's a real one that we've seen last year with the Nova Power Station. It's a real issue that relates to this bill because the major environmental law that can't consider climate change, you can't call a major environmental law. Look, it's like playing soccer without a football. It's like telling the fire brigade they've got to ignore certain types of fires because that's the way the law's been written. I say this because my colleague Eugenie Sage has a supplementary order paper 283 in front of this House to deal with this exact problem. It is absolutely ridiculous, it's ludicrous that our major environmental law can't consider climate change. Mr Speaker, we saw it with Nova's application for a 360 megawatt power station in Otahonga. We've seen it before. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's incredible that in 2017, when 190 countries gathered around the world to sign a binding commitment at Paris to reduce our emissions, our major environmental law can't consider it. It's not a foresight or an accident. It's because of deliberate decisions made, and this Parliament has an opportunity to fix it. This Parliament has an opportunity to amend Section 70, as Eugenie Sage's amendment does, to fix this problem. Now, this is my challenge to all parties in Parliament. We have an opportunity to fix this problem with the greatest environmental crisis facing us. I want to challenge the National Party on this, because up till now, they've shown their credentials when it comes to the environment. They've shown they're a pro-pollution party. They've shown they'll act like environmental vandals, risking some of our most special, pristine places. Just this weekend I was at Tiano, Lake Tiano, where the government, Judith Collins, has opened up an oil block right to the shores of Lake Tiano. This is a place featured on the 100% Pure New Zealand website, yet National's allowing oil drills, seismic surveys, all the pollution and stuff that comes with it. It's an absolute scandal, it's an outrage, and it shows once again the lengths National will go to trash our environment. Mr Speaker, they have an opportunity to show that they're going to do something, the right thing, on the greatest environmental challenge facing us. Our resource management law must include climate change. So we've got a party which has stood up on the side of polluters, but luckily the people of New Zealand know there's a party who's standing up on the side of protecting the environment, protecting our climate for our kids. That's why I'm proud to stand next to Eugenie Sage, who's put this amendment. The Green Party, with our values of protecting the environment, of making sure we're not leaving a mess for future generations, have provided the solutions to this Parliament to vote on. We've shown through our detailed technical studies that major emissions reductions are possible. But it's not going to happen if companies like Nova get away with getting consents for massive polluting power stations, and climate change just can't even be considered. So my challenge to parties are, if you're serious about climate change, make sure you support this amendment so our major environmental law can actually finally consider climate change.
I call Pini Henare.